how strong is Ultra Instinct Shaggy? In this video, we're gonna go over one of the most ridiculous characters to ever be introduced to the memeverse. It's about to get ridiculous. Like, subscribe if you haven't already. First of all, let's set out the timeline for Ultra Instinct Shaggy. Now, Ultra Instinct Shaggy dated very early in the origins of the memeverse. The current arc that we just left is the John Pork arc. The arc before that one was the Kumalala vs Sylvester arc x Ohio Final Boss arc. Looking a little bit before that, we had the Giga Chad and Quandale Dingle arc. And a little bit before that, we had the Shrek arc. Essentially, in the context of his time, Ultra Instinct Shaggy was very powerful. Let's delve into it. Okay, so we've established that during the Shrek arc, he was one of the top memes. But his first introduction to the verse was with Ultra Instinct Goku. Now, if we look into the history of Ultra Instinct Goku, he was at the time the strongest form of Goku we'd ever seen, being able to literally dodge things basically off instinct, going toe-to-toe with literal gods of the DBZ verse, and completely soloing the verse and becoming the strongest. Then became the introduction of Ultra Instinct Shaggy. Now, Ultra Instinct Shaggy wasn't even using up to 1% of his power in this scenario. He was just using 0.001% of his power. And that was more than enough for the situation, because as he would come face to face with Ultra Instinct Goku, it would not be much of a competition. Shaggy would simply have to wave his finger and Ultra Instinct Goku would lose. Now, I've discussed how strong Ultra Instinct Shaggy is in multiple scenarios, but if you even took 100, 200, 300, 400, or even 500 Ultra Instinct Gokus, he wouldn't be able to do anything to Ultra Instinct Shaggy. That's because Ultra Instinct Shaggy is essentially one with the fact that he's Ultra Instinct. Basically, he's fully mastered it, being able to dodge attacks while simultaneously throwing his own. Ultra Instinct Shaggy essentially has all the abilities of Ultra Instinct except at their maxed out and fully powered form. And below 1% of his power, he could easily handle the DBZ verse, including all the different universes as well as Xeno and all those top level guys. Now let's talk about his contribution to the Shrek arc. As we know, Ultra Instinct Shaggy was a prominent character in the Shrek arc. Essentially, he was helping the Ohio Final Boss and Giga Chad to take down Shrek. And before the whole universe got reset by the Infinity Gauntlet, he was definitely top 3. But right now, we're only going to delve into him when he's in his prime. Now, there are multiple stages of Ultra Instinct Shaggy. We've got baseline Ultra Instinct Shaggy, mastered Ultra Instinct Shaggy, and Shaggy Unbound. Looking at the base form Ultra Instinct Shaggy, we know he was able to beat Goku. He was also able to go toe-to-toe with characters like Quandale Dingle, Giga Chad, and the Ohio Final Boss, all in their prime. If we're talking about peak of his powers, prime Ultra Instinct Shaggy, for me, he's definitely the strongest to ever have existed in the memeverse. He's essentially defined what it means to be a strong memeverse character simply in his base form. His base form isn't even 1% of his full power level. And before nerfed by the Great Meme Reset, he would definitely be doing a lot of damage. Now that we've discussed his Ultra Instinct powers, let's take a look at his mastered Ultra Instinct. This ability, he's able to survive in many different environments, including outer space. On top of that, we've seen that he has the ability to handle whole universes. In his absolute prime, being able to destroy omniverses. Let's talk about one of his craziest fights, Shaggy versus Reverse Shaggy. Now, in the introduction of the memeverse, when PewDiePie clapped twice and said meme review, we got two forms of Shaggy in the verse. We had Prime Ultra Instinct Shaggy and Prime Reverse Shaggy. These two coexisted to keep balance in the memeverse. However, whenever they clashed, whole calamity ensued. Now, when Ultra Instinct Shaggy was fighting Reverse Shaggy, here are some things to keep in mind. They had to fight in a completely different omniverse to keep it fair and make sure the area around them wasn't destroyed. In this fight alone, he was able to cause disturbances in the cosmos, coming very close to destroying reality as we know it. He also has limitless internal energy. If you think about internal energy in the memeverse, think of it like Nen in Hunter x Hunter, or cursed energy in JJK. Essentially, he has the ability to recycle his own energy, meaning that he never runs out. And with this energy, he's able to indefinitely power up. With this ability to infinitely scale, he can adapt to almost any situation. When fighting Reverse Shaggy, he was able to adapt to his different blows, and he has some insane sense when it comes to martial art, being able to predict his opponent's moves, almost able to see the absolute future. When predicting the absolute future, he can use his insane abilities of speed to dodge them. Now, I wouldn't say he's as fast as the cameraman or the Quickster, but he's definitely one of the fastest in the verse. Think of it like the difference between Flash and Superman. Flash is obviously the fastest, but Superman is definitely respected in terms of speed. The same thing with Ultra Instinct Shaggy. Now, carrying on with his fight with Reverse Shaggy, they would essentially course through multiple planets during this fight, gaining the attention of guys like the Ohio Final Boss. Now, let's talk about one of the most overpowered items that Shaggy wields. Let's talk about the Omni Gauntlet. Essentially, this is Shaggy's strongest item. Created by user Cactus Juice, only Shaggy is able to wield it. Let's go over the items in the Omni Gauntlet. He has access to all of the Chaos Emeralds, which we know can turn Sonic into Supersonic. He also has access to the Omnitrix, which is essentially what Ben 10 uses to call aliens. He has access to the Uno Reverse, which can reverse any attack one time. He also has access to Command Blocks, which we know is an OP item used by Creative Steve. And honestly, wielding this glove, I do not know who can stop him. As a result of everything I've just gone over, if we are talking about Shaggy, all time, peak of his powers, absolute prime, mastered Ultra Instinct, we are talking about the strongest character that's ever been in the memeverse. This man was clearing the verse without even using 1% of his power. Now, this form of Shaggy was so rare that we only saw him over a fraction of a time in the memeverse. This is because he has access to infinite energy but would have to work it up to this point. Also, he was drastically nerfed after the Great Meme Reset. If you're not familiar with this is when Shrek got his hands on the indefinite glove and essentially reset the power levels of every character in the verse. Now let's talk about Shaggy in his strongest form, Shaggy Unbound. We only saw him reach this power level one time in the memeverse. Essentially, we saw Shaggy Unbound when he confronted Shrek when he was about to reset the verse. Essentially, Shaggy Unbound is the strongest form of Shaggy, and it's when he is in tune with the universe. When he gets in tune and attains the Omni Gauntlet, he finally reaches Shaggy Unbound. Rumor has it no one has ever seen him in this form. Apparently, he's like a blur, nobody can trace him. He essentially used all of his internal energy to reach this form, so it's safe to say he'll never reach it again. But in this form, he could essentially manipulate reality itself. Nobody could even get close to him or even touch him. Dare I say, it was the pinnacle of power in the memeverse. Unscalable in its final form. Everything and nothing at once. In tune and out of tune at the same time. Dissolving the meaning of everything into one small atom, yet having a meaning larger than the multiverse. Shaggy Unbound is the strongest character in fiction. Aura so immense that his spiritual pressure destroyed an omniverse. However, we will never see this form of Shaggy ever again. Now, I had to make this video just to put some respect on Shaggy's name. Honestly, I've been a lot on meme power scaling TikTok and a bunch of new names are flying around. Let's compare Shaggy to some of these new gen characters. So first of all, we have Grug. Shaggy is bodying Grug. It's not even going to be close. Rhymes with Grug does not apply to people who break reality. Up next, we've recently seen a resurgence of guys like the Thinker and the Quickster. Honestly, Shaggy doesn't have as high IQ as the Thinker. I'd say the Thinker is the smartest in the verse, and he isn't really as fast as the Quickster. However, I'd say he can compete with them or surpass them on pretty much every other trait. But honestly, this is a reminder to put some respect on Shaggy's name. His 2019 run has been absolutely generational. His 2019 run is similar and has surpassed Grug's 2025 run. And honestly, I'm kind of saddened by the fact that the discourse around this guy's pretty much died out. However, I just had to say all of this to give a big tribute to Shaggy. And other characters I mentioned kind of aren't really as highly ranked as Shaggy in the memeverse, or don't even compare to him when he was strong during his own era. And other characters have to be reality breakers or shifters to even compare to Shaggy. You just had to be there to see it. Bro's power was so immense, he was clearing verses with below 1%. The whole reason people are like, oh, bro didn't even have to use 1% of his power, bro used 0.001% of his power, is because of Shaggy. Massive credit for Shaggy for forming the memeverse we see today. Now, before I categorize him, I'm going to break down what the memeverse scaling looks like. Up top, we have Omega Boundless. This is the collection of the strongest characters to ever exist. Think Ohio Final Boss Giga Chan. Below, we have Boundless. This is a level of very strong characters that have the capability to shift reality, but aren't really as crazy OP as the Omega Boundless guys. Third of all, we have Omniversal. These people are equivalent to the power of some Omniverses. They are very powerful, I will give them that, but they don't hold a candle to the Boundless level guys. Below that, we have Universal. These people are as strong as universes. Below that, we have Planetary. These people have the ability to destroy some planets. Then below that, we have your run-of-the-mill characters, and then below that, we have fodder. That's essentially the scaling, but let's get to Shaggy's. And because of all of this, I'm putting him in the top category of Omega Boundless. This is the same category of the strongest characters we've ever seen in the memeverse, including guys like Giga Chad, Ohio Final Boss, Prime Shrek, and Prime Quandale Dingle. Ladies and gentlemen, he is, in his prime, the strongest character in fiction. That is how strong Shaggy is in the memeverse. Let me know what you want to see next. Join the Discord, subscribe to my YouTube, like and follow for more.